As a leader, you face many obstacles as you strive to inspire and motivate those around you to think and perform as a team. As you watch this reenactment of a true story at Snapper Lawnmowers, pay attention to the role that leadership played in turning the company's $54 million loss into a $13 million profit the next year. Early one Saturday morning, 25 employees of Snapper Lawnmowers gathered in the main plant. Dressed in blue jeans and khakis, they were not the usual shift. The group consisted of the company's senior officers, plant managers, engineers, and even a few suppliers. They had gathered there because their company was in trouble. Assembly of the lawnmowers was at a virtual standstill, and it was their mission that Saturday to figure out why.
In solving the problems that our assembly line has had.
The months leading up to that weekend had been a difficult time for Snapper. The preceding year, the company had lost $54 million. There had been a recent shakeup in senior management, including a new CEO. Morale was low.
We've got to communicate. You can't wait till the last minute.
Most challenging of all, Snapper had just gone through a major manufacturing consolidation, combining 3 plants into one, cutting their product line in half, and consolidating parts and suppliers. When the plant reopened, the workers struggled. The layout had been reconfigured and was unfamiliar. They were confronted with new lawnmower designs. And to top it all off, the supposedly new universal parts weren't fitting together the way they were supposed to.
On a Friday afternoon, 7 senior officers and I had a meeting to figure out what to do. We needed something profound, some kind of breakthrough, to get the assembly line running again and the company back on track. As the new CEO, I could see that part of the underlying problem was that engineering and manufacturing weren't communicating well with each other.
We are putting together the designs that you give us.
Why are you blaming me for parts that don't work?
The road that separated the engineering building from the factory was more than a physical divide. It was a symbolic division as well, part of an us versus them mindset that was stifling everything, from teamwork to effective communication.
Engineering.
In fact, a reliance on memos and emails often prevented two-way communication from occurring at all.
The executive group knew that doing something was better than doing nothing at all. So they decided to take a drastic step. The next day, a Saturday, they would come into the plant and try to put the lawnmowers together themselves in order to figure out what the problems were.
Until we can get a lawnmower that works.
I think we were all quite concerned when we arrived that Saturday morning. As the vice presidents of engineering and manufacturing, Norm Seibert and I were responsible for the plant running smoothly, and it wasn't. So, we were game to try something new.
Broken into groups. Everybody knows which group.
Kramers gathered everyone together and gave them their mission: to find the problems, come up with on-the-spot solutions, and get the lawnmowers assembled. They split into groups and went to work, starting from scratch, using hand tools, assembling 4 lawnmowers, one piece at a time.
At first, we were all a bit tentative, but as we got into it, people actually started to have fun. It was incredible how much energy was in the air. We were yelling back and forth, comparing notes. As we shared information, we found that, amazingly, many of the bolts were the wrong size. Because we had streamlined the number of overall parts, many of the supposedly universal bolts we had ordered were simply not long enough to hold the lawnmowers together. Even marketing's new labels didn't fit where they were supposed to.
Working with the engineering department, the teams marked up the bill of materials for each mower, changing specs for any piece that wasn't meeting our standards. Engineers would then run across the road to their design center and make the required changes.
Throughout the day, the teams created new assembly instructions, and made emergency requests to suppliers on the spot for new parts, including the correct bolts. By midday, the teams were encouraged. They knew they were making progress.
Norm and I seemed to be working out the problems between our two departments. By talking directly and acting immediately, we were bypassing the months of memos, emails, and meetings that usually bogged us down. We were finally feeling like part of the solution rather than the cause of the problem.
As the day continued, I realized that bringing all the key people into one room had created immediate, honest communication. Somehow, being in a different environment helped everyone collaborate without blame.
We discovered that day that most of the answers to our problems had been right in front of us. But the key people hadn't been talking to each other, or at least to the right each other's.
At the end of the day, there were 4 fully assembled lawnmowers.
That Saturday work session did seem to provide the magical spark that we needed. It gave us a taste of what I call the magic of we. We is more than good teamwork. It's where everyone associated with the organization, managers, employees, customers, even suppliers, are totally aligned, working with synergy towards a common goal. There is no us versus them. It's just we.
With the new parts and designs, the assembly line was working again by the end of Monday. But that was just the beginning of the company's turnaround. In the following weeks, all the employees of Snapper worked hard to implement the changes and carry a new mindset of we forward.
Between manufacturing and engineering, there was a new understanding of the value of working together. We started having weekly meetings so that we could review and improve the mower design and assembly on an ongoing basis. We also realized that we needed one engineer on the manufacturing floor full-time instead of having all the engineers across the street.
It wasn't always easy, but morale began to improve. Employees communicated better and were encouraged to speak up and correct problems on the spot.
Within a couple of months, the plant was back to shipping over 1,500 lawnmowers a day.
Terrific.
By the end of the year, the company had turned the previous year's $54 million loss into a $13 million profit.
As a leader, I was gratified to see that by undertaking and embracing change, we had not only solved our immediate problems, but had taken the entire company to a higher level of productivity and efficiency. With continued teamwork and improved communication, we were on our way to experiencing the magic of we every day.
Effective leadership is critical in order for an organization to attain the magic of we. As a leader, gather first-hand knowledge of your organization by regularly walking around and talking to people, by walking your 4 corners. Build bridges between the different job roles in your organization. Get the most from the talent and resources available. Inspire your team.